Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Raad Life. Today, I wanted to explore further some of the things that we've been talking about, which is what's the impact on business of this whole period right now that's going on with coronavirus. I'm hearing from a bunch of consultants that, their clients, once they got past the initial shock and having adjusted things like, food, shelter, family, take care of all that stuff, definitely start worrying about their businesses, what's going on. And we've talked about this before with some of the other guests about growth mindset versus bunker mentality. But I wanted to bring on somebody that I've been trying to get on the show actually for a while, Mr. Gary Johnson. And I wanted to basically have a chance to talk to him. So I think it's perfect timing that we're actually finally having him on the show. He's a very busy guy, but he's staying at home. So I finally got hold of him. So let's bring Gary on and see what's been going on with him and in his consultancy business. Gary, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just finally glad that I'm glad I finally got hold of you. I mean, you're like a moving target, man. I've been trying to for months to get you on this thing. So finally I said, you know what? It took a coronavirus to finally get this guy stationary long enough for me to get him on a show.
That and a nice buzz.
Hey, you know what? Can you come do mine too? Because I'm like, I'm having to, I'm gelling it now. I have to gel it. That's have you met my new barber? Gel. That's his name.
It's funny that you say that because I saw a interview that you did the other day where you were talking about growing it out, and you're like, I'm not going to do a man bun.
Hell no.
There's no way. You're
Hell
like,
no.
I'll do the Adam Sandler.
Opera man, absolutely.
Yes.
Wow,
yes.
I'm actually really touched, buddy. I mean, you were actually paying attention to that show. Yeah, it was with my master barber. He's a good buddy too, Gorky Falcone.
Yeah.
And he works at Roosters in Irvine, and also like moonlights on Fridays sometimes at Bespoke, David Welsh's place, at a barber chair that I put in there because I couldn't be bothered to go to a barber shop. I just want to go to my tailor and get my.
Of course.
I'm like, what? Come on, let's double up on things here. But yeah, no, and that was an interesting conversation too, because here's a guy that basically is doing something that's a passion pursuit, and he's basically been knocked like big time here. I mean, and he's got things like he's done before, like mortgage and sales and things like that he can maybe try to fall back on. But it was a very candid conversation. I mean, he shared some stuff,
It
but
was good.
So but the most important thing about that show is, what do you think? Should I go Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're going Adam Sandler. That's it. Gary Johnson has approved.
Yeah.
The full down opera man look.
That's it.
Okay.
I think you would look good in it. Very distinguished. It goes with your beard.
Is the cape going to be necessary, or can I forego the cape?
I'd pay money for that cape. I would pay money to see you in that.
Do not tempt me, my friend. Do not tempt me. Because I will do that. I will show up at the Center Club with the cape. No man bun, but definitely a cape. And who knows what the liner on the inside of that cape may be. I mean, I'm just saying. So speaking of liners and capes, you are pretty much a Superman. I mean, you really are, all right? You're out there, you do your provisors, you really what's wrong with you people? We got a rainmaker, we got a growth mentality, don't sequester and bunker mentality.
No,
Tell me what's been going on. I mean, you obviously, like everybody else, first order of business was buy as much toilet paper as you can.
Right. I didn't get in on that trend.
Oh, you didn't? Oh,
yeah.
You know what went faster off the aisles than toilet paper, by the way?
Huh.
Webcams. Webcams disappeared off the aisles of Staples faster than toilet paper in Costco.
Absolutely.
Right. And then the profiteering on that one started right away, because the $60, $70 webcam that you could get, the Logitechs, now we're like $300, $400 if you can get them in 3 weeks from Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll be done by then.
Well, the world has changed completely. I mean, people that say, I can't wait to get back to normal. There is no getting back to a normal.
Nope.
Right?
Right on.
So, okay. So what have you been dealing with, man? I mean, once you got like family, shelter, food, I'm good. I got enough, my choice of bourbon or cigars or whatever it is, right? By the way, I expect you to show up this Friday.
No.
Friday.
I don't
virtual
drink it. I
cigar.
don't smoke.
Well, then smoke. You know, then basically don't smoke and make yourself a cup of tea. There's no judgment.
Oh, there'll be judgment. I know the guys that are there.
No, there'll be judgment after
John alone
when we
will
see you
judge.
in person, but online, no, there's be no judgment. I record these
Yeah,
things. There's no judgment.
yeah.
But tell me what's been going on. I mean, like, what have you been dealing with?
So, it's definitely been an interesting time because typically people think, okay, when a financial crisis happens and we need to cut costs, typically people go to marketing
Mm-hmm.
because marketing is really an investment. It's an investment in our future because what we do today, marketing wise, will give us business down the road. It may not
Right.
get us business today, but it will get us down the road. And so I actually had one of my clients who said, look, we're going to need to put this on pause, like our engagement on pause. And when I asked him why, it was actually a really good answer because he said, we have too much business right now to deal with because there's so much business coming in. And we're not in the office to take care of it. And we don't want to add on to that. So let's just pause it for a month, which yesterday I just had a conversation with the firm and they were like, okay, we got to get things back going. We're on a level playing field now, but most of my clients, as you know, are attorneys.
Right.
And they're all over the place because I have one attorney who is doing very well, and they're in the estate planning
Mm-hmm.
world.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have some other attorneys who are litigators, and litigators are struggling right now because the court system is shut down.
Right.
They really can't do anything. And depositions, they're doing some depositions remotely, but it is a lot more challenging as opposed to the day-to-day stuff. But the key aspect that I'm working on with all of my clients is what is next?
Mm-hmm.
What do we need to do now for that next, whatever that will be? And I love that aspect because there's so much possibility in the next that we get to write whatever we want to write. And, you talk about this is a good opportunity to look at those things that we didn't do before for whatever reason. I've got one of them where I've been meaning to put together a program, online program called LinkedIn for Lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows lawyers how do you use LinkedIn to actually get business instead of it being that scary thing that, oh my God, I have these friends and I don't know what to do with it. And I feel like I'm a slime ball if I actually use it, where I show them a step-by-step process over 5 modules that shows them how to do it. And,
Mm-hmm.
but I've been procrastinating like crazy on it. I mean, just because business has been very, very good.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't have time to do that. Well, I still don't have that much time, but I have a little bit of time, which my wife constantly reminds me of, is get that thing done because she knows when she comes into my office, I got this big board that says LinkedIn for Lawyers. But it is a really great, I'm saying a great opportunity to go after some new business, go after and build those relationships that you didn't have time again before that you now have time now.
Gary, do you agree with me when I've said this before, but I mean, again, you and I think we're in different fields, but I think there's also sort of that mindset. If you're in that zone, if your mind, your DNA works in a certain way, then that's just how your triggers and your synapses fire off when you see something. You either see an opportunity or you see a challenge, or you see a complete reason to be paralyzed and be in the fetal position in the corner rocking to a happy place. But
Yep.
I've been saying that the interesting thing about this too, which I have not seen a lot of people talk about, is that if you think about just the whole arena, whatever it is, whatever your competitive space is, whoever you may be, your closest competitors, whatever, at least for the first few weeks, I think it's changing. I'm sensing it's changing now because we've got a little settled now, it's more serious. It's more no end in sight. Yep. Even if it ends and we get the all clear, we're still going to have ripple effects of this that proceed beyond that. But right. One of the things that I've been saying is that at least for the first couple of weeks, you may be finding yourself with a heck of a lot less people that are at least generating noise. or competing for attention.
Mhm.
And so if your message was crafted cleanly, if you're basically finding the conduit to put it out in a meaningful manner, you had less people that were competing for that end user's attention.
Mhm. Yeah.
There, like we went to 50% of people out there basically because people were either busy or whatever it was, they didn't know what to do. And I've noticed it with the shows, like all of a sudden, I'm like, really? I posted an Easter thing on LinkedIn and there was like 2,500 views on that damn thing in 48 hours. Like,
Yeah.
So there is opportunity, to your point. And then you are very much like for those who don't know what it means, look it up because, you should know what it means, but rainmaking, you're very much a rainmaker, right?
Right.
And it makes perfect sense what you're saying about estate attorneys being busy, because right now the uncertainty factor in terms of securing assets
Good God,
is the biggest opportunity to basically market to that need.
Yep.
Because everything around you globally is basically telling people, hey, you need this.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I think during this time as well, we are, there is definitely a change in regards to how people are effectively marketing.
Tell
And
me
what I
more.
mean by that is,
Yeah.
I see, you would see a lot in the past, just 2-3 months ago, where people were constantly soliciting, or, hey, look at me. Hey, look at me. I just got this award. This is what I can do for my clients. I'll give you a discount here. I'll give you a discount here. And what I have seen, because I study the crap out of this, is people that are genuinely givers, like what you're doing on your program. This is a giving aspect to your network. But people who are genuinely givers are getting more traction right now than those others. And those others are trying to, quote unquote, trick people into thinking, I'm really caring about you, because they start things out with, so with this COVID-19 going on, we as a company are so caring about you, and we want to do what's right for you. So we're going to give a 10% discount off of our next program. Please sign up now because it's going to be gone tomorrow. And you go, are you kidding me? Like, really? As opposed to those individuals that are just giving material. Here it is. Here's what you need to do. And then there's no solicitation, nothing. All they're doing is they're sharing what's up here to their network so that their network can get through this a lot better. Because look, there's a lot of people that are struggling in this time. And whether they have the right mind,
16 million
right,
unemployment applications. I mean, that is like, I saw the chart. I was talking to Logan. It just went straight up.
Straight up. And it's not going to go away anytime soon. And if you have that right mindset that says, okay, I'm in this situation, I need to figure out what's the good in this, and how do I pivot? And also, how do I really take care of my network? Because our network is everything to us. I mean, I see you all the time networking, just like you see me all the time networking. Those individuals are important. And I want to be able to give back to them, especially to my clients, because it's an important time right now to allow them this information that goes, even if it's one piece of information that goes, oh my God, I need to do that. Yes, that is great. Need to do that. That is going to be a huge difference for a lot of people, because people are going to remember your messaging today. Because in 2 months, when we get through all of this stuff and get into our new quote unquote normal, they're going to remember that. They aren't going to remember the sleazeballs that are trying to sell the crap out of them. They're not going to remember all this other noise that's out there. They're going to remember the people that were generous.
And genuine, Gary, and genuine. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Right now, because of, I think, the lack of noise, and call it, a clearing of debris. And, I refer to content as being a cacophony of content. There's so much crap out there. Really, it's like, and if you don't know what cacophony means, then you should look that up too. But cacophony of content, right? Because it's just deafening. And all of a sudden right now is we have less cacophony of content. So there's a little bit more ability to see clearly, right? Yeah. So to your point, it's even more important and I'm not saying fake it, right? Because if you don't have it, then just, you know, just be kind and compassionate and empathetic, and,
Yep.
you know, do less damage as you can by putting less out there as possible, because you're right. They're going to remember how you treated your employees. They're going to remember how, whether you furloughed them or let them go, but how you did it is going to be super critical.
Yep.
The fact that you are authentic and genuine when you say, I am not looking for a return, I'm actually just giving. Okay. Now, let's just be manipulative for a second and talk about it from a business perspective, right? That authenticity and genuineness today, and that mindset of seeding versus harvesting today,
right?
Okay, is going to be the super smart move you made today that will sustain you.
Yep.
You know, I had Lee Goldberg, who's a friend of both of ours. He was on there talking about how, you know, when the dam burst, and I thought it was a very interesting analogy that he kept talking about the dam burst. And when I first heard him say that, I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen now? What's going to get flooded? And he's like, the dam bursts and the economy comes back gangbusters.
Yeah.
Are you going to be in a position where you're ready? Are you moving at, you know, you were moving at 80 miles an hour. Now you got kicked down to 0. But did you move it back up to 30 or 40 so that you can go from 30 or 40 to 80 versus 0 to 80?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And so, you know, is this something that you're seeing across multiple industries, or just kind of legal profession? I mean, so what do you see?
I'm seeing it across all different mediums. And I really, you know, even the individuals that are struggling big time. Let's talk. You had somebody on the other day that was talking about restaurants.
And my buddy, actually, Anan Abdu, who owns the Olive Tree in Anaheim, and he was talking about how they had to pivot. Yeah.
Yeah. And so one of my clients is a restaurant consultant. I don't know if you know who Tony Penn is.
I know of him.
Okay, so Tony has been doing some great work lately and putting stuff out, because he assembled because he's a restaurant consultant, but he assembled 8 other people that they did an hour-long, just like this, Zoom and let's go. Had an employment attorney, had an insurance, it had a couple of other consultants, it had restaurateurs that were on there, and they were all explaining all the different things that you can do, what you can do, and also legally, what can't you do, so that it enables people to get through the pitfalls. Well, now what he's doing is he's working on what's next, because when this all comes, when the stay at home goes away and we're able to go back to our outside lives, what's going to happen with your restaurant? Like, will you have enough food? Will you have enough employees? Will you have the right menus? Because the menus might have to be thrown out every single night. So what sort of paper are you going to be using? But there's so much information that's out there that people have a lot of anxiety because they go, I don't know. And what he's doing is he's ensembling all of these individuals to help out restaurants. And his whole thing is, how do we help them out? How do we help them out? Right now, he's trying to get some celebrities together, celebrity chefs, like Aaron Sanchez, and assemble them to help out the restaurant community. It says, hey, look, I've been through this before back in 2009. This is what we did, so that at least gives these restaurateurs, these local guys, this information that says, yeah, okay, I need that. I needed to hear that. Or maybe you might want to try this instead of this, because everybody's like, oh, just do takeout. Okay, that is something that's good, but maybe you can do a little twist to that. And how are you marketing that? And how are you getting to them?
You should connect me with him, Gary. I'd love to have him on the show. Also, I probably have a few people that he could talk to, because from the hospitality side of things, I mean, I know some people, there's some name chefs that are right in our neck of the woods that I can connect him with. There's a gentleman who's a former client and a friend of mine, or I should say a client, not a former client, but Ryan Wagner, who owns the culinary lab off the 55 in Tustin. He basically, it's like a modern cooking school, basically. And then there's Anwar Santana. There's a couple of other people. There's a gentleman who actually used to run the culinary program at the Art Institute that I could, Steve Gostin, that I could connect him with. There's also Bill Bracken, who has Bracken's Kitchen.
Oh yeah, that's a good friend of his. Yeah. And Bracken's God, so Brackens is a great example
Exactly.
of somebody who goes out there and does it. I mean, but he's not just doing it now. He's been doing this for years, giving back like crazy. He goes out to the homeless and feeds them.
So do you know the background story on Bill? I know we're digressing
I
a little
do.
bit, but
I do.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was hit hard in the last recession, and
Yeah.
he was sitting where he was basically at the peninsula, serving the likes of Patrick Dempsey and what have you, and ironically, the car that they have, Betsy, that the truck that they have,
Mhm.
something that used to serve food at on the set for that show,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Grey's Anatomy. And so yeah, here's a great example of pivoting. The
Yep.
gentleman that I actually do the weekly show, the Raad Life, is on OC Talk Radio, Paul Roberts. Paul Roberts set up OC Talk Radio the last recession because he was driving his wife nuts at home, watching nothing but YouTube stations, and he basically set up a online radio station out of an 8x8 room that now has 20 shows on it. I don't know what's going to happen after this hit, but there are examples all around us of how people pivoted, and maybe out of necessity, maybe out of saying, and I've been saying this is a time to say, why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of arguing for the limitations of something, why not?
Yeah.
Because if you're actually even smart about how you go about it, you could even minimize the cost outlay to
Mhm.
following that why not path and see what happens, right?
Absolutely. And it allows you to prosper, because if you put together plan A, what's your plan A? But also, what's your plan B, your plan C, your plan D? Because inevitably, plan A is not going to work. So you go to plan B and you go to plan C. What most people do is, one, they don't have any plans.
Mm.
But if they do have a plan A and plan A doesn't work, they just done. They give up. I mean, I know from experience, I've done that so many times. But I've learned over the years, you have to have these different plans into place, because inevitably the first plan is not going to work. And if it does, fantastic, then you're off and running to the races. But yeah, you do have to utilize this time. Here's a one of the things that one of my clients says to his staff all of the time, and I love this, is when we are out of this, you want to be running. You don't want to be looking for your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Because what most people are going to be doing is they're going to be looking for their shoes. Because what are they doing? Okay, I get to spend time with my family, which I'm not saying is bad,
Right.
but I'm going to use this time for self-care. I get that. Yes, you need to have self-care, but it's also a really good time to do the things that you either wanted to, or double down on your efforts right now to go after that business that's out there, and also to connect with people. This is the best time to connect with people, but don't do zero, because when you do zero, you're going to be behind the ball like crazy. And then it's going to take you a whole lot longer to quote unquote recover from this than other people, because your competition is going to be sailing past you.
No, I love that. Don't be ready to run, not look for your shoes. I mean, anybody that shows up for an event and is already dressed is basically at the starting blocks
Right.
sooner than the person pulling the stuff out of their gym bag, right? I mean,
Exactly.
it's a perfect analogy.
Yep.
But and it's interesting because this is, I mean, depending on when you started, what part of the country you're in, you may argue that this is like week 3, could be week 4, right? So the first few weeks, I get that, and I'm all for it. Like you focus on those relationships and can reconnect with the people that maybe you haven't had a chance to see for more than an hour before they went to bed or something like that, right? That's actually another layer to the gift of what this probably is going to be written about. Like, we were given an opportunity to reconnect and rebuild those internal relationships within our immediate circle that we kind of sacrificed as we were building everything else outside that circle, right?
Yep.
It's okay. Yep. They'll deal with it. They'll be okay with it. I'm going to basically spend all this time on the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here we are thrown into like a big brother situation where we are in each other's face 24/7. So the first couple of weeks, I totally get it. But right now, and maybe this is part of that shift that I'm feeling, is that people are going, okay, now what? Mm-hmm. And if you are not getting that, you have to find that sweet spot between empathy and business development, and I know for some people that may sound like an oxymoron, but like, empathy and
Yeah.
compassion and business development is like, well, I'm
Yeah.
not in the nonprofit sector. What are you talking
Right.
about, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we're all kind of in that caregiving sector right now, in
Yep.
one form or the other, right? Whether you're product, service, whatever, you are in that sector. And marketing, it's funny because most people go, okay, I'm going to give you money right now to do marketing, and then what, like 30 days? When am I going to get the return back on it?
Yeah.
Right? He's laughing because it's probably
Yeah.
what you've heard all your life, right?
Oh,
Like,
always.
right.
Always.
By the way, I'm going to put up your website again because I want to make sure people have. Okay, so for if you can see this, great. If you don't, I'll read it to you. J2 Marketing Consultants, the letter J, the number 2, marketingconsultants.com. That's how you get hold of Gary. It's a funny thing. It's really a funny thing because there's a part of me that believes that we're going to come out of this better. Like not just in terms of the economy and money and all this stuff, because again, reminder for everybody, yes, there's going to be a financial impact. We were probably heading to a slowdown and a recession to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
This was not an economic hit that we took. Like
No.
the people who laid off people, it was out of necessity because they didn't know how long it was going to take.
Yep.
Right? If we knew that it was going to be 2 months, we would have probably dealt with that aspect of it differently.
Yeah.
Right? There's going to be so much labor force to be had when this basically comes back, right? And I'll tell you what, that labor force is going to look at your record of how you dealt with your employees when this happened, and whether I want to go work for you or not.
Yep.
Right? They're going to basically say, listen, I worked out of the house, so why do I need to come in 5 days a week? I want 3 days at home and 2 days in the office. I mean, it's going to change everything. And that means the company doesn't need as much physical space. So now I'm looking at getting out of my large lease, getting into a small one, right? If you're smart, you're already starting to think.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities that are out there. And that's the exciting part about this is being able, and
we were talking about food and beverage, Gary, and I'll say this again. I said it, I think, one time before. I look at things both from the marketing, kind of like helicopter view, but I also look at things in terms of the spatial. I can't help it. That's the field I'm in, right?
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
And experiential. So here's what's interesting to me. If I am a chef, because remember last time we had a recession, a lot of people went to food trucks, right? And that was sort of a disruptive technology to the food and beverage industry, food trucks. And I use that example when I was talking to somebody about the spa industry, how we should look at other industries and see what happened and how does that apply to our industry. So look outside the window. It was about windows and mirrors, reflection, internal reflection, and looking out at other things. So food trucks. So that carried and sustained a lot of people that were still wanting to be in the food and beverage industry, but did not have the means to basically take on a brick and mortar.
Right.
Right. And some of those people then went to a brick and mortar, but then kept the food truck because now it's their delivery service. Right. And that served them well during this whole thing. Right. Now, if you're a young chef or somebody that's doing like meals, pre-made meals, which is another thing. Now, delivery is going to be a huge business here. It's going to get so refined. Right.
Yep.
If you're that person, we may be looking at an evolution in the food and beverage sector that's very similar to what happened in the spa and salon sector, where you started having like Sola salons and Phoenix salons, where you had short-term leases of about 150 square feet, joint facilities under one roof, right? If I was a real estate person right now that had about 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 square feet of a large facility, maybe even a big box that went out, 6 months prior to this thing happening, I would be looking at how do I turn that into a joint commercial kitchen or two, an overarching ABC license. Yeah. Because guess what? We can now deliver alcohol. Try putting that genie back in the bottle after this is over. That's not going to happen. There's too much money margins in the alcohol business.
Of course there is.
Right. They're like, you let us sell alcohol during the coronavirus. We're going to continue to sell alcohol. Right. I'm going to make all the money. Right. But imagine, and I'll tell you, there's an example for the ABC component of this, right? It's called the Packing House in Anaheim. It's Shaheen Sadeghi, who basically, with a partnership with the city of Anaheim, has an overarching ABC license over the whole building. And so everybody in that building basically falls under that in terms of serving alcohol. So what is the difference of setting up an equivalent of a short-term lease where you have 20 food and beverage offerings, whether it's catering, whether it's pre-made meals, whether it's senior meals, whatever it is, Szechuan, sushi, whatever it is, you're prepping in the kitchen and you're delivering out of there. And all your business component is is 105 square feet, no seating requirement, no bathroom facilities other than for staff, and you got two large commercial kitchens that are on a booking schedule where you basically get, certain hours, and you basically, there you go. I mean, that would revolutionize
I agree.
the business.
I agree, and it takes away the risk.
It takes away the risk.
The restaurateur has,
Exactly.
which is huge. I mean, and especially during these times, people are looking for new ways, but they're also looking for the less risky. In great times, people will take higher
They're
risk.
willing to take the risk, yeah.
Yeah. And in these times, people aren't as willing to, unless they've got nothing to lose. Like, I lost everything, let's go for it. So they jump into it. So, everybody is in different situations, but the thing that you have going for you that most people don't is the fact that you're creative. You see lots of different industries, but you also see possibility. I mean, that's your whole entire job is I look at a space and I see
what could you do with this? What's
Yeah.
this empty canvas?
And most people don't have that. And so it is our duty as professionals to help out these individuals. And that's why I'm saying is that when you are genuine and authentic with what you're giving, the information that is up here, giving it to those people out there, that's really where the rubber meets the road. That's really where people will go, you know what, Rod, I trust you. I like you. Let's do business. And even if it's not today, it'll be down the road. Or, you know what, this great guy, Rod, he's fantastic. The guy thinks out of the box, and you're like, this is the guy you need to use. Those referrals don't just come out of midair. We never get lucky when we get business because we had to do hard work in order to get that business.
Well, but you and I also believe in the fact that it's all relational and not transactional. Like transactional is maybe a phase 2, but it all stems from relational, and that is the sustainable business model. If you are a transactional, whether you're brick and mortar, whether you are a call center, whatever, if it's transactional and quota, you may hit those numbers, but you are going to constantly have to have volume coming through that funnel in order to meet it. The sustainable repeat business is not based on transaction. I mean, there's always somebody who's going to give them a better price. There's always somebody who's going to do it quicker. There's always, but at the end of the day, it's, and it almost sounds like a cliche when we say, like in our case, we say, we don't design interiors, we design experiences. It is really experiential. It is experiential, not only in terms of the final product, it's experiential about the relationship of doing business to get there.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And I don't care. I actually, a lot of people go, well, if I sell a widget, how is that experiential?
You're showing your age, my friend. You know that, right? By using the word widget, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you and I basically were exposed to business in the 80s. That's a widget. That's an 80s term. I'm just saying, I hear you loud and clear.
But it's all about that experience. I mean, now is a wonderful time to build those relationships. I tell my clients this, get on the phone. And they're like, what do you mean? I go, don't reach out to your network via email. Don't reach out to them via social media. Right. Call them. Right. Because everybody is going through this in different ways. Right. There's a lot of fear that's out there. There's a lot of anxiety that's out there. And I do a lot of Zoom calls through Provisors and a couple of other, I run a couple of mastermind groups as well as my church. And I constantly am seeing this. When you see people up there and you ask, how are they doing? You'll see the whole gamut. I mean, there was somebody the other day that was in tears. She was crying her eyes out because her business is so bad. The great part is that she's got this community and we all rallied behind her. Like, let's go. All right, this is it. This is our time to step up. And it's, as my pastor had told me, now is game time. It's game time right now. Let's go. Let's go. None of this pity. Oh, woe is me. Now is the time where we have been training for leadership to actually step into that leadership and really lead people, because there's a lot of unknown stuff that's out there. There's a lot of misinformation and there's a lot of negativity out there. And like
And,
you.
and it's not gonna end. It's not gonna end the minute we get the all
No,
clear. By the way,
not at all. In
there's
fact,
gonna
I
be
think it's going to
yeah.
double down.
Yeah, there's a psychological well, because nobody's holding a gun to your head now.
Yes.
Now you're self motivated. I mean, if people think that the level of congestion. I mean, I seriously believe that there's going to be a big portion of the workforce that's going to demand remote work now, demand it as part of their benefits package. It's going to be like, I mean, we might even get as far. I mean, I don't think we're going to be that kind of crazy, but we might get as far as like what Europe does. Like, no. I need 3 weeks. I need, it's going to change the whole negotiation situation.
Yeah. And I also think that companies now are going to be able to fulfill that. Because before they're like, nah, nobody works remotely. Get your ass in here. Let's go. But now it's like, yeah, we do. We just purchased all of these laptops. We just purchased these webcams, as you were talking about before. We purchased all of this technology. One of my clients is equipment leasing company, and their business is going through the roof right now. And the reason why is because they're getting these companies that are spending $200,000-$400,000 on technology, and that's their space that they're in is technology. And it's because they need their employees to work remotely. And so they are just killing it. But here's the greatest part is that they're still in this time of killing it where people are like, we need capital. They are really doing a great job of taking care of their clients. Like they're going, okay, we don't need to offer 3-month deferrals because look, we hold the gold. So we actually hold the power. You do what we want you to do, not vice versa. And they're going, no, we're going to give people 3-month deferral right off the bat so that they can get this equipment, get it up and running, start making some money, and then they can make their payments. And when the CEO told me that, I'm like, first of all, I love having that as a client because their values, their morals, their ethics and integrity are through the roof. They are truly an iconoclastic company, but they're doing it to service their clients today because of what you had said earlier, where it is people are going to remember this. They will, whether they're clients, whether they're vendors, whether, they are just outside people that are seeing this. They're going to remember it, and they're going to go, I need to come back to that individual.
Gary, you and I have been around long enough. I mean, that's really what again, I will say it over and over and over. This is the only way you sustain a business in a smart, cost-effective way. You have to be genuine about your relationships, and we all burn bridges on occasion, and we all basically try to mend them, and but hopefully that's a smaller part of what you're out there doing. And at the end of the day, it is unauthentic. I mean, not only is it, especially if it comes from, I almost don't want to use the term because it's overused, but like servant's heart. If it really comes from a servant's heart, right? That authenticity and genuineness will serve you well. And then there will be a time that you may have to go to that person and say, look, I really could use a little bit of a breather. I need, whether it's because I can't deliver right now, we got overwhelmed, whatever it is, it's all like just everything else. It's a relationship and relationship management. And right now it's a time of crisis, but we're all in it. Nobody is not touched by this. And that's the other thing that's kind of fascinating about this particular situation is that whereas before, I mean, I had a gentleman on that basically runs 45 spas across Asia. Okay. So he was the one who first started me on down this path. He was like, in the past, Malaysia may be having an issue, but, the other ones kind of shored up Malaysia while Malaysia got back on its feet. Right now, there is no hiding space. There is no multinational that doesn't have a branch that's been impacted by this, right? And the question is, okay, we may be rolling out quicker, we're smaller, faster, who the hell knows? But again, there's a psychological ripple effect to this. That will continue to impact everything from how we live, how we communicate, how we engage, how we conduct business. There will be relationships that are trashed out of this. I mean, I have a person, I'm not going to say who it is, but he's in a similar industry that I'm in, and he's promoting super expensive furniture right now. and exclusive lines of furniture,
Yeah.
right? As if it is like the second coming. And I'm thinking, this is the most stupid message. I mean, you want to put that message out, do it, but not right now. This is you just burnt that message. If there was, you burnt it.
Yes.
Right?
Oh.
I mean, a minute ago, before this happened, the first two questions, I was saying this yesterday with Martina when I was talking to her. I said, it's fascinating because we're talking about Porsches and driving and all that stuff, so it got me going in that direction. I said, yeah, when you meet somebody and it's a joke, you ask two questions: what do you do, and what do you drive? Well, right now, what you do doesn't make a damn difference because you may even be unemployed. And what you drive, I don't really care because you're supposed to be sequestered and not on the road, right?
Totally.
So if you're a printer, a minute ago you were making all your money on stop and repeats. Guess what? Now you're making them on protective shields that you're putting in front of the store, right?
Right.
There's been a lack of selfies. I mean, the socioeconomic impact of this.
Yeah.
There will be books that are written about this, as a global phenomena that touched everybody, regardless of socioeconomic level, whether they were in 5,000 square foot house or in a studio apartment, whether they basically used Uber to get to certain places or they had, a fleet of cars. It did not matter. It's going to affect the insurance industry because now people are going to go, I can do with 2 cars. I don't need 4. Yep. I don't need an office that's this large. Half my staff can basically remotely work. There goes my overhead and fixed costs, my risk factor, to your point. It really is going to affect everything. So just to wrap it up, what do you think? I mean, if you had to give people, I don't know, let's play the game, 3 things to do, right? What would you suggest right now? We are in week 3, week 4, whatever it is. What should they be doing, Gary, if they have not already been doing it?
Well, the first and foremost is make sure that you're connecting with your network. There's a lot of people
in person, not via emails. Make it a personal connect. Yeah.
Make it a personal connection with them. Whether it's phone, whether it's Zoom, get a bunch of people together and say, hey, let's do a happy hour. Like I'm doing a happy hour tonight with my one of my groups. We do it every Wednesday night from 5:30 to 7. And it's just a great time for us to just chill. Just, hey, how are things going? And we talk about nonsense. Yeah. But what it does is it connects us, and it connects us on a deep level because people need that. People need the connection right now. We're sequestered. Even if you're an introvert, it doesn't make a difference. We all need people. And now is the time where we need to build on those relationships that we already had. The second thing that I would say to do is to build new connections. It's a good time right now to build those new connections without selling, though. Don't freaking sell anything. 0. Nobody right now wants to be sold. So don't do it. And when you think that you should, you're like, don't do it. Hold back and just build relationships.
So are you telling me, and I'm being totally facetious right now, right? But are you telling me that when somebody adds you or you send an invite on LinkedIn and somebody adds you, yeah, I know exactly where I'm going, right? That maybe I should not send a boilerplate letter as my first point of communication with that person. Are you saying that maybe I shouldn't do that, Gary? I mean, is that what you're proposing?
It still this bothered me 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. I mean, it just drives me crazy when people are like, Rod, hey, thanks for connecting. By the way,
here's a link, here's a download, oh my God.
Here's me. I'll never forget this. So on my LinkedIn, it in my headline, it says that I work with attorneys. Right off the bat, you know who my target market is. And I want it to be that way because I'm all about messaging and I want people to understand who is my target market, right?
Yeah.
And I had somebody who said, hey, thanks so much for accepting my connection request. So I wanted to connect with you because I wanted to learn who is your target market. I was this close to sending back going, what the is wrong with you? Like, come on, people. And it's that sort of mass connections, that
Yeah.
is not going to work. I personally, and I'm a firm believer of this, it doesn't work. You'll send 1,000 of these out and marketers will say, all you need is one. I totally disagree with you.
Mhm.
I think the best way to get business is to build long-term relationships.
Amen.
I look at marketing this way. You remember the old water pumps that you had to pump and they were sitting in the ground
Yep.
and you
Yep.
pump and pump, right?
Yep.
Well, that's marketing. You're working your ass off. And what's happening? Nothing's coming out of the water. You're going, nothing's coming out, nothing's coming out. What most people do is they stop, but just as the water is about to come, they stop and they say, this doesn't work. And it's part of my job when I'm working with my clients as their marketing coach is to keep them going. Don't get discouraged. Let me tell you, it's going to come out because remember, once it starts to trickle out, you're working your tail off. It starts to flow out. But what happens is then it starts to really flow and you work less. You're just, all you have to do is one of these instead of 20 times, you're only doing it once.
You're just maintaining at that point.
That's it. And now is the time to build those relationships because that's really the heart of our business. But here's the other thing. It's the heart of our humanity too. It is the heart of what is going to get us back sooner, that we all feel that connection together and say, I can be in a positive mindset, because if the whole nation is in a negative mindset, we're going to take a long time to get out of this. When we can all come together and say, look, we're in this together, let's rise up, because that's one of my biggest things is fear. Everybody has it. But how I love to look at fear is the acronym that says, I need to look at that whatever it is, and I need to face everything and rise. So instead of it being fear, like, oh my God, I'm going to cripple it, use it as an acronym that is saying, I'm going to face everything and I'm going to rise. So therefore, you have that confidence that goes into it and says, yeah, okay, I can do this. And when you build your old relationships up, you build new relationships up, and you really work on your messaging during this time, and it's the best time. I mean, I have been getting a lot of new clients lately because they understand they're like, I need to work on the foundation for my marketing. I need to be working on my target market. I need to be working on my messaging. I need to be working on all of my branding. And so like, let's work on that now, because when this thing comes back, I want to again be running instead of looking for my shoe.
Well, and you may be struggling to find time to actually do that. Then, I mean, this is the other thing that I've been telling people, and it applies to you, marketing. It applies to design side of things. In modern life, we are constantly looking for time. We're constantly looking for time and a little extra time to get something out. A little extra time before we have this deadline to submit to the city, a little extra time. If I only had a little bit more time, I would make it better, right?
Yeah.
Right now, you have that. In addition to that, whether it is because of necessity or because people are, their heart's in the right place and they have this sort of, communal, we are in this together approach to their business mannerism right now, is that, it should be always the case, but maybe more heightened right now, is it may also not only be the fact that you have extra time now to where your back is not against the wall or you got a gun to your head about timelines, but you also may be able to secure better terms and costs to do similar things right now.
Yeah.
It's really an interesting combination. I've been trying to craft a message, and I guess I've just been too busy with these shows, but I've been trying to craft a message to put that out to people, because if you are thinking of still doing something, and unless you have basically, and no judgment, but unless you basically had a complete collapse of your business, unable to sustain yourself through this uncertainty, whatever, if at some point you are thinking, and by the way, even if you are in those dire straits right now, may be a time for you to have a hope and vision that basically may carry you out of this eventually. Yes. But if you are doing that, if you're thinking that once this comes back, I am going to be re-engaged, I am going to do something, I'm going to do that, room edition, I am going to reposition my business in terms of having consistency holistically between its branding, its facility, its operations, the flow, everything, right? If you're going to do that right now, maybe a time you want to initiate that conversation with somebody because you may secure better terms,
Yeah.
have less time constraints on you or put on you,
Yeah.
and come up with a better, clearer, less pressured solution.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because your back isn't, quote unquote, against the
Against the
wall.
wall. Mm-hmm.
You're thinking more logically, hopefully, if you can get into the right space. I mean, there's a book out called Deep Work by Cal Newport. And he talks about getting rid of all of this distractions and doing that deep work where you can really think about the important things in your life. And it doesn't take very much time. I mean, it's like an hour, 2 hours where we can shut everything off and just be thinking about these issues that are in our lives. It gives people that hope that goes, yeah, what are the possibilities? Let's just play with it. I mean, literally, let's play with it. That's the thing that I love when I work with my clients is I'm like, I'm not third party. I'm not emotionally invested. Let's go. So I pull stuff out of them. I'm like, okay, so what about this? And what about this? And they go, well, we've never done it that way before. Great. Let's put that up there as one of the big possibilities. Because now's the time where we have to put out all the possibilities out there and then go, okay, let's eliminate this, because these three are our best, our best and our brightest for the future. And now what's next steps? Because an idea is only an idea, but let's put it into action. So what's our next step so that when we're leaving this meeting, we're moving on this instead of going, that's tomorrow, that's tomorrow, that's tomorrow. We got to move on this now. And I am fortunate and blessed to be that accountability partner that puts my 10 and a half shoe up their ass that says, let's go. There's no excuses. Let's go. Let's move. And they thank me for it too.
Well,
like,
that's a visual. That's a visual I really needed today. I mean, I'm uncomfortable in my own seat right now, Gary. You know, it's just. But listen, just I was grinning when you were saying, you know, the typical, you know, we haven't done this way before. Like, we're 20 years, we haven't done this. You know what we also haven't done for 20 years? We haven't been sequestered in our homes for 3 weeks. So if we were able to be sequestered in our home for 3 weeks and survive not doing something or doing something differently from what we have done for the last 20 years, guess what? You don't have to continue to do the same thing you've done for 20 years because.
Amen.
Right?
Yeah. And it's a great opportunity that says none of these excuses that I had before have any weight now. They don't. I have to put all of my excuses away and I got to just move forward. And it's exciting when you can open up your head that way. It's actually exciting. It's like, all right, there's some really good possibilities that are out there. And then we get to actually be the architects of our lives instead of just the day-to-day and just going down this road that goes, you wake up and you're like, oh shit, this isn't the life I wanted. This isn't the Raad life.
Oh, nice plug. Thanks, buddy. You know the old Peter Drucker saying, right? I mean, the only way to predict the future is to create it.
Yes.
Right. And so you have that opportunity. I don't have that, but I've been actually using my green screen when I basically am not on the show. I've had this on my green screen, and I think maybe it's appropriate. Look at this.
Oh yeah. You should just have that up. I should have that back here.
Well, you know what? You and I will talk offline because I think it's time for you to have a show.
Yeah. We'll see about that. Let's see how good of a salesperson you are.
Let's see the gold mic and the green screen and the scissor arms.
See, I got one of my my Blue Yeti.
Yeah. By the way, really nice setup. Like I said, you just need a little green screen behind you.
Yeah.
But no, it's. And you know what? I'll print this thing out for you, and I'll hand it to you. You can at least hang it in there. So you may say no to me basically producing your show, but at least you'll have that hanging on your wall. That's fine.
There you go.
That's fine. That's a compromise I'm okay with. I'm not going to try to sell you, because after all, that's what we just figured. Huh?
For $4.95, you can have your show too.
You know what? Actually, right now, to kind of be honest with that, we are working on a bunch of shows that are going to be coming in between now and the end of May. And I actually know right now, for me, it's being able to provide more voices to people that are out there, and it's people that are like-minded, like we just talked about, that are genuinely authentic in their messaging. There's no hidden agenda.
Yeah.
It's just giving them a platform to be able to reach more people with that messaging. And no, so I'm actually not charging around for setting up these shows. It wasn't my initial bread and butter. I found out that there are people that could use some help, and so we're just helping. If somebody wants to consider doing a podcast or something of that nature, it is a little bit of a fraught with pitfalls area, and you don't necessarily need to learn by your own mistakes. Just give me a call or reach out to us. I mean, I'm not plugging it, but I'm more than happy to talk to people about it.
Well, and you do a good job of this too. Actually, that's not true. You do a great job of it.
Very kind. Thank you.
And you do a great job of keeping the community together. I mean, but you've been doing this for a very long time. And, unlike my schedule, I have actually wanted to get on this show. And I remember when I gave that presentation at the Center Club, you're like, hey, I want you on my show. I'm like, well, it's about time you freaking asked me.
Wow. I think that's kind of backhanded compliment, but you know what? I will take it.
Great backhand.
I will take it.
Yeah, but there is so much authenticity to your shows that you're putting on really good people. I mean, I saw the other day, and this was an old one that you had Leilani on. Mm-hmm. And she was on with Ford and Brendan and help me.
I can't remember. I've been doing this for 5 years.
Who's Brendan's partner?
Oh, Chris.
Chris. The three of them on and just going back and forth, and they were talking, I think, about AB5 potentially, but the information that was on there was great, and you keep it light, you keep it fun. It's not too, not way too serious. It's actually entertaining. And I think that's great. And I mean, you got to keep on doing what you're doing. I mean, I love it. I absolutely love it.
You know what? It means a lot to me. I mean, I'm both getting warm here and blushing and changing my color of my face. I have a good camera. It's not showing it, but I'm really getting uncomfortable in my seat right now. But I will tell you, I really do appreciate that. It means a lot to me that I hold you in a lot of respect. So it means a lot to me that you would basically say that and also be listening. To be fully candid, the show I think that you're referring to was basically hosted on the same channel by somebody else was the host. But I know that what you're talking about.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, and I know those people. So yeah, no, it's all right. It's fine. We're all in this together, right? So it's as long as the content is out there. I did have Lee Goldberg on, and we did talk about AB5, and it was ironic that we were talking about AB5 just before this thing happened. Yeah. And then now the conversation about AB5 and its importance is almost like out the window until we come back, because it's like, is it even gonna still hold when half the population now is in a contract situation? I mean, right. Is that law even gonna hold anymore when you come back?
And you know who would know is Lee. I mean, that guy is brilliant, and he makes it so that it's easy to understand. Because AB5 is not an easy law to understand, and I've heard a lot of people give talks on AB5, and some of them have been really great, and some of them have been really, really poor because they're attorneys and they're not messaging it correctly. Lee has done a great job of messaging that, and he's also continued to share that with people.
Well, and his hold on the knowledge as far as also the stimulus and the filing for stuff. Yes. He's very much on it all the time. To your point, Gary, and I think maybe we should end with this, but to your point, the strength of your network. I mean, I'm fortunate, you're fortunate to have people like that in our network, and they genuinely are givers. Like nobody's like holding a clock and saying, okay, hold on a second. Okay, I'm talking to you. There you go. Like there are people, if you're fortunate enough to have in that life, but again, it goes back to the point that you made. You got to build those relationships.
Yep.
And this is a great time to build those relationships, to maintain the ones that you have. And please, for God's sake, do not send me any more friggin' boilerplate comments on LinkedIn when I add you, because that is the worst thing you can do. Yep. I basically literally just delete that, and good luck if we talk again in the next 6 months.
Totally. And you know what? The only thing that I don't do that you just talked about was delete them, because I use them to show my clients this is what you don't do. And I get them all the time. And I'm like, here's a fresh one from yesterday. Here's another one. Don't freaking do this because it's going to kill you.
Actually, Gary, I don't. I delete them in here, but they're still there. You're talking to a person that has emails from back in 1998 still sitting on my computer, right? My archives are deep, my friend. Trust me. What would you like me to pull up on who now? But hey, we just call it research for the show. That's all I'm doing. I'm just doing research for the show.
Sure. Yeah. So, all the dirty, dark things.
Listen, I don't know what you're talking about. Listen, thanks very much for taking the time, man. I mean, I know we ran over, but I really appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Stay healthy. Yeah. And the offer does stand. If you're ever interested, I'm more than happy to help you set that up. I think, you have a voice that should be heard.
Appreciate it very much. And keep doing what you're doing because, the value that you add to your network is enormous. So keep doing it. I know you will, but I appreciate you, and I appreciate
you too.
Everything
I appreciate you too.
For everybody out there, because we need people like you that are going to be positive, that are going to be energetic, and that are going to be saying, hey, what are the possibilities? Let's get creative instead of let's bunker down, let's get into the fetal position, and let's just wait it out, because that's not going to help anybody at all. Thank
you. I appreciate that very much. Thanks for the kind words. Yeah, it's time to get excited. It's time to look at the possibilities and say, why the heck not?
Yep. I agree.
Thank you, sir.
All right,
Have a great day, Gary. You too.
You too.
You take care. Bye-bye.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye-bye.